And good Tuesday morning. We're 30 minutes now, T-minus counting, as polls will be opening up very shortly for runoff elections in the great state of Mississippi. They're all around. Each county is going to have one or two, to the best of my knowledge. Lauderdale County, no exception. I know that also Neshoba County, Clark County has got a few. So make sure you vote. This is very important. Now, do I think that there's going to be less voting today? I can't lie. I do believe that. But what matters is having you there. Cast your vote. A lot of times these elections are chosen by a very, very slim margin due to the fact people just don't turn up for them. So we want you there. Make your plans some way, somehow, get to a poll voting place and cast your ballot today. Some folks depend upon you. They put a lot of money and a lot of knocking on doors over the last, 8 months. Make sure you're part of what makes our nation click, especially here in the great state of Mississippi. Let's go to Collinsville now. Let's get that good word as we'll go out. We'll be right back from the Baptist Church here.
I have a pickup truck that I really enjoy. I've had it now for about 8 years. Before I was able to buy it, I hoped to one day own one. Now that I have it, I no longer hope for it because owning it has become a reality. Now I just enjoy it and I'm thankful for it. Before I owned it, I could only hope that one day I would be able to buy it, but not really knowing that I could. For quite a while, my hope came with a measure of uncertainty. The hope that we can have in Jesus Christ as believers is very different. In Romans chapter 8, verses 24 and 25, the Apostle Paul says, "For in this hope we were saved, but hope that is seen is no hope at all. Who hopes for what he already has? But if we hope for what we do not yet have, we wait for it patiently." Our hope as believers is in the imminent return of Jesus Christ and in the promises He has made to make all things new. We don't hope like we are uncertain that it's going to happen. We only wait patiently and with certainty for His return because it is as certain as if it's already happened. Are you waiting patiently for the return of Jesus Christ? Does having hope in His return make a difference in how you live your life? Jesus is sure to return one day, and on that day, the hope that we have as believers will become a reality, and we will enjoy being in the presence of the Lord forever, having all that He has promised. I believe it will be worth the wait. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. And there we have it. Good morning to you. So glad to see each and every one of y'all waking up. Right now we're at 72 as we wait for a high of about 90 today. Rain chances will move in mostly 3 to 5 o'clock is going to be our big chance there with a 60% chance. They should be ending by 8 p.m., that 60% chance of rain out of the forecast after that. As we pull up Meridian Honda radar this morning, absolutely clear in Mississippi. We do have a little bit of fog showing up around Huntsville, Alabama, and those areas, and you get into Georgia, northeast Georgia, where the rain is. And we'll talk about Mr. Nasty down here in just a little bit. Category 3 is what we're looking at rolling in. 121 miles an hour on Wednesday is what we see here on radar. Gainesville, Florida, all these areas, all over to Douglas, Brunswick. These areas here could see a bunch of rain coming up. Hurricane force winds. It's going to be nasty as it rolls through. And still a strong storm as it reaches Charleston. We'll keep you up to date with all that as it goes into the Carolinas there. All of that is up and coming. As we look around at what's going on around the nation this morning, IHOP, they're rolling out biscuits nationwide. You're going, why? Well, sales are slumping nationally. They've got to do something to get you there. We all know that it's kind of like a person on a rod and reel string reeling you in with a biscuit in the South. It's a good way to get you to come over. How do women catch men? Food. She'll go back to the Andy Griffith. That was always a big joke. It's a lot of truth to it, isn't it, Odie?
It really is.
It is. I guess anybody can be lured. I guess it just has to be limited to just a man. Women like those sweets as well. At least chocolate cup. Odie says chocolate covered. Elton John has spent a night in the hospital. He slipped. He had some problems before and broke a hip, and he went for precautionary reasons just to be checked out. He can sing, I'll say that. Now, I know nothing about rap. I have to always turn to Odie when it comes to things of rap, but Eminem, and every time I look at the name, it looks like enema to me, but it's Eminem, they say. Who Odie, the guy running for president, what's his name that they said did well at the speech the other night? Ron something like that. Yeah. Since when, and y'all correct me, did a presidential candidate rap at his campaign rallies? Now, I'm being serious. Campaign, you're up there speaking as Donald Trump would do, as Biden, and you decide to grab a microphone and start rapping. It's gotten so bad, Odie, that Eminem has sent a cease and desist letter of don't do my songs at your rallies anymore.
Well, Ross Perot used Patsy Cline. Crazy.
But he didn't sing it, though, did he? And I know Trump made, who was it, mad, you can't always get what you want.
Yeah.
That guy. Yeah. But actually singing it with a microphone, a presidential candidate rapping. Nothing really shocks me anymore, folks. It really doesn't. It's just not very presidential, in my opinion. But who knows? Did you see where one of the contestants from The Bachelorette has passed away? Josh Sider, 36 years old. Now, they're not telling what he died of, but very, very strong hints of he may have had an issue or two, and this could have led to suicide. It hasn't been spelled out that way. Just indications from remarks from family lead you to believe that. So that's what we know about that show with it at this point, this man. There's not a place deep enough, dark enough to put somebody like this. They have sentenced a man, a Florida man, 21 murder of a child, an infant, who took a baby wipe and stuffed it in the child's mouth so it would hush squealing and crying. As I said, there's not a place, there's not a hole deep enough for somebody like this. That child died, choked to death. He still walks among us.
That baby was crying for a reason.
Yeah, the baby was crying for hungry, thirsty, because they can't talk.
They can't talk.
And if you can't handle that, there's a lot of good folks that would like to adopt a child. It really would, that can't have their own. It's horrible, horrible. Things like that get me in a mood earlier. I don't know much about figure skating. I know that it's pretty. It's an art, and there's a lot of people that love it. But a Canadian Olympic star, she's 36 years old, has been killed in a car wreck near Ontario, near her little small hometown. They say she was one of the best. That's awful. Her name was Alexandria Paul. She was 31. I said 36. That's sad. We pass along condolences to those family members with that as well. And I have, maybe it's just me, like if you see a fire and you stick your hand in it, it's usually going to burn you. If you buy a cup of hot coffee and spill it on yourself, it's probably going to burn you. So this next headline, I scratch my head a lot. This guy's in jail. Anybody ever remember the name Ron Jeremy? Well, I'll just put it point blank. He's a porn star. If you're a young lady and go hang out at his house, what do you think is going to happen? No, I'm being serious, as the assault charges keep coming on this. Well, I had no idea he was going to do that. He does that for a living. Let's be smarter, America. Yeah. I'm not being ugly. I'm just laying out the facts. If it's hot, you turn on your air conditioner. There's just certain signs that you should pick up on of maybe I shouldn't be here. That's one of those that got my attention this morning as we look around here. I'm not sure where this will go, but the National Archive, and again, when it comes to political, I'm not the world's best at guessing this. I'm certainly not good at what someone can be prosecuted. I can only tell you what is being put out there. The National Archives has revealed that 5,400 emails, 5,400 of them from Biden, in which the president potentially used fake names to forward government information to Hunter. Now, again, let me repeat that and put it in simpler terms. 5,400 emails where he may have used a different name that were sent to Hunter. 54. Now, I'm not accusing anyone of anything. I'm just saying where there's smoke, there's fire sometimes. It's kind of like sticking your hand back in that fire. It's going to go, how? Insanity. Yeah, that's a few of the headlines across America this morning. Can y'all believe all this? It's a lot. We'll be right back with your weather forecast to get this day started. Good morning to you. The Precast Group, offering you the best selection when it comes to a storm shelter. Located on 145 South in Meridian, where they offer above-ground shelters that can be installed in your home as you're built-in, are conveniently located right outside your home if it's already built. They also offer storm shelters that can be installed in a slight bank or on flat ground. Protect your family today with a very affordable storm shelter from the Precast Group. Highway 145 South, 601-482-0003. The Precast Group.
Hi, I'm Chris Bullock, Republican candidate for District 1 Supervisor. My proven record of experience includes running my family's business, Caters Market, serving our community, and supporting our schools and law enforcement. I was born, raised, baptized, and married here in Lauderdale County, and I'm prepared and dedicated to serving you. I humbly ask for your prayers and your vote in the Tuesday, August 29th runoff. Thank you again for your support. Vote Chris Bullock.
Over in the corner, Odie's thinking. Y'all be cautious of this. Good morning to you. We're already at 6:43. And again, let me remind you, we are roughly 18 minutes now, 17, away from polls opening up. Make sure that you go vote and cast your vote. It does count.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
As we look at our record highs and our record lows back in 2000, some 23 years ago, it was 104 today. 1891, we had a cool 50 degrees. And it for the last couple of days around 1891, it's been in the 50s. Wow. As we look at the forecast for today, this is what we've got. Somewhere around 89 to 90, depending upon where you are. And the further south you go, the heavier the rain will be as you start noticing Hattiesburg picks up a little bit more. Light stuff around the Columbus Air Force Base. By the time you get to Philadelphia, chances increases. A little bit more in the Meridian area and east into Alabama is what we're looking at as we cross that Bama state line. And look at this. Look over in Selma and Auburn and those areas there. Extensive rain today expected there. Now, again, all of this should be over by 8 p.m. tonight is what we're expecting. We do have a pretty strong chance of rain sometime between 3 and 5 this afternoon, about a 60% chance, and it'll back off and then hit it one more time before it concludes by 9 o'clock tonight. And then rain is out of the forecast. Oh, boy. Let's take a look at what we've got here. Again, don't let this little bit of a sprinkle fool you into thinking that it's okay to burn, because it's not. Dangerous wildfire conditions still exist today and tomorrow. It's still out there. We're under burn bans. Don't do it. And be careful with cigarettes. Anything that could do a spark, don't thump them or whatever you do, out a car window especially. It's all it would take, and we would have a catastrophe on our hands. We would. As we look at this across here, look at this in northern Texas. That's hot. A little bit there moving into Arkansas as well. Mississippi still warm and warm. This is a little bit warmer northwest of Mississippi at this point. As we look at our 7-day forecast, we're holding steady in the 90s for the remainder of the week of this little bit of a rain, and maybe this contributes to what's moving into Florida. Maybe that's causing this to be a tad cooler. By Saturday, temperatures will start to warm back up to 93, and then we'll hit 95 going back to work on that. Friday, we got that 40% chance of showers and even a 30% chance on Saturday. As we glance ahead to what's up and coming, temperatures will be strong again by the 6th as we get ready for 95, 97, 96. Upper 90s, mid to upper 90s is what we'll have all the way through mid-September is what we're looking at this point. As we glance across, now this is what we're paying close attention to. As I mentioned this morning, Adelia, 75-mile-an-hour winds. Millibars at 981. This will roll into Florida somewhere about right here at 121 miles an hour on Wednesday is what we're expecting. Now, Franklin moving along, and it should turn back at 138 miles an hour this morning, sitting at 935 millibars. We have two other aspects out here that could turn into something, a 30% chance, and then freshly off the coast of Africa, a 50% chance of this storm developing. Again, this is our major concern here in the Gulf as it makes its way toward Florida. And again, that's going to be tomorrow. If you've got friends, family in Florida, make sure they heed. Don't wait around. This is a serious one. This could upgrade. We never know. Again, it's sitting right now at a level category 3. When we deal with Mother Nature, in an instant, that could pop and turn into, well, without a doubt, a level 3. I'm going to pull up radar here in just a moment. We'll look at what's live with that here in a moment. What's the fishing forecast for today? We look at this from Chet, and here we are. Your major time to fish today is going to be around 11:30 until 1:30. Now, the next time that you would do this will be right at dark, 7 o'clock for a couple hours there, through about 9 o'clock on that forecast. Wind's going to be calm, coming northeast around 5 this morning there with the wind, so if you're going to be out fishing there. Now, let's go back and pull this up and take a closer look at what we've got going on with these storms. As we pull this up, this is, we're in Honda radar this morning. As we pull this up, and we show you there, it's a Cat 1 right now, moving along at 75 miles an hour, wind gust of 92. Adelia, now she's going to be coming up, gaining to a level 2 this afternoon by 1 o'clock this afternoon. And by Wednesday at 1 a.m. in the early morning hours, this will reach a Cat 3. Now, again, that's 121 miles an hour with gust of 150 miles an hour at least as it slams into Florida. Here's Gainesville here. Here's Valdosta. Waycross, Georgia is right in the line of this as it clips in to Florida. And let's just see where this is. This is Howell Place, Florida, is basically at this point, and this is going to move east or west a little bit. It always does. But Howell Place, Florida is under it. Y'all take heed. This is coming. Lake City, Madison, all of this. Waycross, Georgia. Savannah is in the line of this and on through Charleston before it curves and goes back out into the Atlantic. Strong storm. We want you to be cautious and be careful with this. And we'll be watching it very, very closely for you as this. Now, as we look at this out here, Franklin is a Cat 4. Let me pull that back up. Now, this is not going to harm us at all, but it's out here. A Cat 4 at 138 miles an hour is where it's at. Gust of 167 miles an hour. And as I back out to show you here, this is what Franklin is doing away from us. It could calm down. It's going to be a tropical storm before it reaches here. All of this we're watching to let you know what's going on. Again, we're nearing the top of the hour. It's 6:48. I believe 6:49. We're 10 minutes away. We're coming back live in about 4 or 5 minutes. Well, we got Odie ready for this morning. We're going to tell you all about what's gone on over the last 24 hours. Locally, and a few national stories there also. We'll tell you about Joe the Plumber as well. Have you heard about all that? We'll tell you about Joe the Plumber coming up this morning, bright and early. It all gets underway at 7 o'clock here at the Scotty Ray Report. See you then.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners: